Hey everybody, welcome to Weight Loss for Women Over 40. I am your host, Nikki T, and today we're talking about stress hacks to stabilize your hormones. We have been in the Hormone Whisperer series for quite a few episodes, and we have one more left, and then we're going to dive into cravings and emotional eating. So I hope that you will hit that subscribe button wherever you're listening to this and stay for the next series and on. So if you're new here, I want to welcome you to the podcast. This is probably a very different podcast if you've Googled weight loss for women over 40. We're not going to be talking too much about exercise and food. We really dive into the mindset behind why you do the things that you do. And I want to remind you that this is not your typical weight loss space, nor are when you work with me or you get into my world. Like if you go and visit me on Instagram or on Facebook, I really don't talk a lot about exercise and food. I used to do all that dieters mentality stuff. And who knows, I may talk about it again in the future because I do feel like it's an important component, but I don't think it's the first place to start. The first place to start when you want to lose weight for the last time is in your mindset. It is the psychology behind what you're eating, how you feel about your body, how you feel about you, all your past conditioning and programming, that all adds up to the current you. So if you're like not so thrilled with current you, that's okay. Still love you, but like love yourself, but just know that you can change whatever situation that you are in. And I'm happy to help. So let's dive into today's topic. And again, this is not like I don't want you to think that we're going to be talking about a bunch of to-do lists. There's not a bunch of rules to follow here. And we're definitely not focusing on like fixing your body because again, there's nothing wrong with you. It is just when you are living your life and you feel like you're either out of alignment or you're not living the life you want to live. Like those are the things. Like you are enough as a human being. But it's okay to want more. It's okay to want to change. It's okay, but don't want to change because you think that you suck or you're not good enough, right? There's a totally different mindset behind that. So, for those of you who are new, I am Nikki T, also known as Nicole Tournay, and I am a weight loss mindset coach, a behavioral coach, personal trainer. I have done two TEDx talks. I have a medical degree in physical therapy, and I was a former professional ballet dancer. Just as a side note, don't know why this popped in my head, but I've done 12 obstacle course races, and our team actually won one year. It's probably for another podcast. So, I have been in this industry for a very long time, 24 years. Yes, 24 years. Still hard for me to believe. That's a quarter of a century almost, right? Anyway, um, so I have a lot of experience in how to do it the dieter's mentality way, and I have experience doing it in the mindset way. And if you're going to choose the mindset way. It is so much easier. It is so much more able to navigate and you don't feel so crappy about yourself trying to get to the body that you want. So, we're not here to talk about dieting. We're definitely not here to talk about obsession. And I don't want you to feel like you're behind. Okay. So if you are in your 40s and you're finding this podcast for the first time, don't feel like you wasted 40 some years or 30 some years or whatever number it is. Just know that I really do believe that things come into your awareness or people pop into your life for a reason. And you are meant to be here right now listening to this podcast. So don't feel like you're behind. So we're going to be talking about hormones and stress. And I want to just do a side note because I was talking to one of my former clients last week, and you know who you are if you're listening, but she was talking about hormone replacement therapy. And because she had been listening to this hormone series and she, was commenting on how she had decided to go on it. And I just want to offer for everybody that is listening to the Hormone Whisper series, I am not like whatever you decide to do is your decision. So I have friends that are on hormone replacement therapy and they're doing fabulous. My thing, and this is what I had said to my former client, is that I just want to give you guys an alternative before you go to the medicines, before you go to other things. It's the same thing with the weight loss shot, with surgery, with liposuction, anything like that. You do you, but I want you to know that there is a mindset option that is available to you before you go down that route. So my thought process is, and this is with weight loss, this is with hormones, that let's find out if it's your mindset and let's find out if it's something that's kind of conditioned or patterned in your way you operate. And then if that still's not gelling right after we've worked together, then go down the route of hormone therapy. Right? I don't work with anyone who is on shots or diet pills or anything like that because I feel like it diminishes what I am doing. So it's no judgment on anyone who is doing that, but um, I only work with people who want to have natural results, right? I get it. We're going to go on a side tangent here because I keep hearing people that have contacted me or whatever, and they're going for the shot. And I get it. I get why it's so appealing. So appealing, right? But the long-term effects are not looking good. So if you like your bone density and things like that, like you just don't, this is my philosophy. You just don't know what the drugs, the pills, the shots, whatever are going to do to you long term. And I know that you want to lose weight so bad that you're like, screw it, I don't even care what happens. To me, that says a lot more about what you think about your self-worth, and that breaks my heart because I've been in that space, right? I've never wanted to do weight loss surgery or anything, pills or potions or anything like that. But I get it, that feeling of like, I just want my body to look a certain way. And I'm telling you, try natural first. Like seriously, like give it 100% all in. Because my program does work. It works so easily, shockingly easily. Instead of spending the money on a shot that is probably going to deteriorate your bone mass very quickly, for a surgery that you're going to lose weight so fast that your skin is going to sag and then you're going to need another surgery, or you're going to have to only eat a tablespoon of food for the rest of your life. Like, think about your actual life that you want to live. How do you want to live it? Because I promise you, if you go natural and you go through my method, you're going to feel so much better about yourself and you're going to lose weight, right? Definitely a side rant here, getting on my soapbox a little bit, but please binge listen my stuff, um, and then take the next step and go get in the Master Your Mind, Change Your Body. It will change your life. All right, I'm gonna stop right now because I'm not trying to convince you. I'm just saying it works, and you don't need to go to the alternatives that you're going down. So, all right, let's get back to the topic. This has been on my mind for a while. That's why I feel like there's maybe I'll just do a separate podcast on it. But all right, so today we're going to be talking about stress hacks to stabilize your hormones. And I'm going to be really honest with you up front. A lot of stress hacks don't work. And I think that most hacks and quick fixes, just like I was just talking about, um, it's not getting to the root of the problem, right? When you go get a weight loss shot or you get surgery, you are not addressing the actual issue that is going on, and that is your mindset. That is what you think about your body. That is what you think about when you get to the weight that you're going to get to or want to. Like, what does that mean to you? So here's what usually happens, right? You're feeling overwhelmed. You feel off. Your body feels heavy, maybe inflamed. You feel stuck. And you think, okay, I just need to manage my stress a little bit better. So you try meditation, you go for walks, drink tea, you do the breath work, and it helps for a moment. And again, I do not want to discount any of those things that I just mentioned because they are super helpful. I actually have a lot of this in my Crush Your Cravings course of breath work and things to listen to, go for a walk. All those things are amazing, and I think they're super helpful. But again, if you're not getting to the root of the problem, then you're just kind of putting a band-aid on a bullet wound and you're right back where you started, right? So this is when more frustration builds because now it feels like even the things that are supposed to help aren't working. So I want to really kind of shift this. Stress is not something you fix in moments. It's something your body learns over time. And your hormones don't respond to isolated actions. We talked about this in the previous podcast on hormones, right? They respond to patterns. Think about it. When you're stressed, your cortisol goes up, and that cortisol affects all the other hormones because they don't work by themselves. They are a team, they work together. So, one deep breath is not going to override 12 hours of rushing around, overthinking, people pleasing, having constant pressure on yourself, feeling like things are never done. That's not a stress problem. That's a state your body has adapted to. It's that background hum that we don't always hear, especially if you've been operating this way for a very long time. Your body gets used to it and it gets used to being stressed, right? So it creates now this baseline for you that really isn't your true baseline. It's your like stress baseline. And you really do become so used to it. And that when you're actually calm, it feels really uncomfortable because you're used to being in this stress mode. And as a complete side note, I am going to be launching my Maven Heart podcast, and I was interviewing a guest yesterday, and we were talking about this exact same thing. So, when the Maven Heart podcast comes out, you will hear about it on this podcast. But I hope you will jump over and subscribe to it and listen to that podcast because it will coincide with what we're talking about here. So, but we were talking about, stress and how to really kind of I don't even want to say word check out, but like understand that there's this constant buzz, especially in America, especially as US people, there's this constant pressure to keep going. I talked about how in ballet, if you were injured or sidelined, there was like this fear of like, holy cow, I'm going to lose my role. Someone's going to step in, someone's going to do it better, and then I'm going to be cast aside, right? There's this very competitiveness going on in that industry. At least it was in my aspect, growing up in it. And I know this is the same if you're in competitive sports or things like that. And there's this drive to keep pushing, and I think that carries through. I know it carried through in my life of you can't stop or else you're going to get behind, right? And when you do kind of check out, so I did a digital detox a while ago, it was for a complete week. I keep toying with the idea. I'm going to do it again. Now, there were some stipulations with my digital detox because obviously when I work, I have to be online. I have social media that I post on Instagram and Facebook. And doing the podcast and things like that. So there is an element of me being on there, but it was very limited to time frames. I didn't watch any TV unless it was an educational business type thing or personal development. I spent a lot of time self-coaching, and it was interesting because you realize how much time you actually do have. And I got a lot of clarity and a lot of capacity for the things that I wanted to do. So um, sometimes you don't realize how you're operating until you remove the things that are kind of stressing you out. And you're like, oh, there's a whole nother level underneath of this, right? And it can feel very uncomfortable because I remember when I was doing the digital detox, I was like, am I going to be bored? Like with the certain hours that, and I don't watch a lot of TV, but at the time it was winter and it was cold. So I was watching a little bit more TV, especially at night. And especially if I get hooked on a show, this is the disadvantage of having access to an entire series. Like I watched the morning show. I've binge watched Ted Lasso before, and it just sucks you in because you just want to keep watching it. So just if you want to do a digital detox, that's definitely something. Maybe I'll do a podcast on that too and give you a little challenge and we can see how that goes. But my point is that sometimes when you're in it, you can't see what's actually going on until you remove it, right? So instead of going, okay, what hacks do I need to de-stress? Start really looking at the state that your body is living in on a daily basis. And this is what your hormones are responding to. What is your state of being? So, in order to actually stabilize hormones, right, it's not doing more calming activities, although it can help. It's reducing the need for them, right? So if you're constantly stressed and you're like, oh, I need to calm down, what if you flip that and I'm just calm and sometimes stress happens? Let's flip the whole scenario. And that starts with how you move throughout your day. Not hacks, not quick fixes, but with your patterns. So, first step, stop stressing, stop stacking stress on top of stress. This I always find fascinating, especially when I'm coaching women on weight loss and their journey. And, they go, "Oh, I shouldn't have eaten that donut or whatever." And then, there's this like extra layer of judgment. It's like you judge yourself on eating the donut, and then you judge yourself judging yourself eating the donut, right? It's the same thing with stress. It's like you're layering stress on stress. When you wake up, you rush through your morning. You go straight into work mode. You push through your workouts. You multitask all day long. And then you try to wind down at night, and your body just doesn't really get a reset at that point. Again, we've talked about this in the previous podcasts, so definitely go back and listen to those episodes. um, so instead, maybe try creating transitions throughout the day, even 2 to 5 minutes where you're intentionally slowing down between things. I know when I work, I tend to work in blocks, and then I'm like, okay, I'm going to go get a cup of coffee. I'm going to go sit outside, get some sun, go for a walk, take my dog for a walk, something like that. Again, I'm in a situation where I work from home, which you may too, but it's taking those moments and also recognizing how you're feeling throughout the day, right? When I'm recording this podcast, am I stressed out over the podcast? Generally speaking, no. It is what it is, right? So noticing how you're responding to things during the day because your body needs calmness throughout the day, right? Not constant output, not go, 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 go. Second thing is change how you interpret pressure. This is big. So I could have 10 women have the exact same schedule and completely different responses, not only physically, mentally, but also hormonally. Why? Because it's perception. If everything feels urgent, like if you feel like you're constantly putting out fires all day long, if everything feels like it matters right now in this moment, your body stays in this heightened state of urgency, of aware, like hyper vigilant awareness, not just regular awareness. So the work is not removing everything, it's just removing the meaning that everything is a threat or has to be done right now. I remember back in my early days with mindset, I was coaching a client and they were helping out a neighbor and just doing all these like putting out fires for everyone else, definitely people pleasing. And I suggested to her to not do those things. And it was like, but I can't, but like she would be a horrible person if she stopped people pleasing. And I'm telling you, when you stop people pleasing, it doesn't mean you're an asshole or a biatch. It helps you be a better person to other people because you're not running around putting out everybody's fire. A lot of times people can put out their own fires, they just don't want to because they know you're going to put it out for them. Another topic, I should be writing these down. Number three, make your body feel done. So, most of you, when the day ends and you're exhausted, you don't feel like it's complete. I also deal with this myself. My mind is still running about things that I want to give to you guys, how I can serve you guys, how I want to implement different programs, what I want to do on social media. Like my mind is constantly going, running, planning, thinking about what's next, right? So for me, I know there's a certain time limit where I'm like, we're done. Unless some like major aha pops into my head that I'm like, oh my gosh, that's an amazing idea. I will put it in my notes or in my calendar somewhere where I can see it the next day. Um, but allowing your body to fully downshift, it starts creating a very clear signal that like, I'm done for the day. Let's check out. It's like, I don't know if you remember, we probably don't do this anymore. I'm dating myself here, but I remember working at Dillard's, which down south, which, sorry, Dillard's, I did not really enjoy the job. It was like a Macy's, like a department store, and you checked out, right? You punch the card in, and then you left. It's the same thing now, but we don't punch out. You don't clock out. You're accessible 24/7, all those things, right? Check out. Um, Again, going back to the podcast interview that I did with Mavenheart, we were talking about too how in Europe there's actually the woman I was interviewing that she was saying there's actually a, I don't know if it's a law, but it's definitely proactive in the sense of like, you say you work 9 to 5, and if your boss contacts you after 5, unless it's an absolute emergency, you can actually fine your boss for contacting you in personal hours. How about that? Should we adapt that over here in the US? I think that's an amazing idea. So, finishing for the day, it could be, maybe right before your quote unquote clocking out is writing down everything that you feel like you need to do for tomorrow, like literally verbally vomiting on a piece of paper so you can flush it out of your head. It could be closing your laptop with intention or kind of doing a fun little end of the day thing, how you turn off your computer. Even saying it out loud, like, I'm done, I'm out, whatever it is. Because your body needs closure, not just collapse at the end of the night. Next thing is stop using workouts as stress output only. Yes, I love when you work out, when I work out, when I'm stressed, when I'm angry, like it's definitely an outlet. But not every workout needs to be like that. It can be intense, but it also can be a little low key, like fluctuating between the two. Like, are you feeling like every time you go in there, it's really intense, it's rushed, it's about burning calories, it's about fixing you? That's, again, a mental pattern. Am I saying don't do intense workouts? Absolutely not. But just understand the motivation behind them. Because if you're hating yourself while you're doing your workout, or you're trying to punish yourself for something you did or how you look, that's just added stress. And your body doesn't interpret that as being healthy. It interprets it as more demand, gotta push, suck it up, buttercup, right? All that. So ask yourself, is this supporting my body? Or is it another way I'm just punishing myself? And be clear because your brain will be tricky. Your brain will be like, yeah, I'm probably punishing myself, so I'll just skip my workout. Be on to yourself when your brain wants to just be comfortable. Okay. Hormone stability comes from balance, not constant intensity. Remember, when your cortisol gets raised in workouts, it will contribute to the cortisol level that you already got running throughout the rest of the day. So you don't need better stress hacks. You need a body that doesn't feel like it's constantly under pressure. When that starts to shift, your hormones don't need to be fixed because they stabilize naturally. You're going to notice when this happens that you're going to be sleeping better. You're going to have fewer cravings. Excuse me, I had the hiccups. More consistent energy, and you're going to be less emotionally reactive. And yes, the weight is going to start to shift, not because it was forced or you sucked it up, buttercup, but because your body no longer feels like it has to stay in survival mode. There's a lot of nervous system regulation that needs to happen in your body. And I think, again, we've been so conditioned, especially if you're Gen X, we're the latchkey kids. We are the kids that had to fend for themselves when they were little because our parents just weren't around, right? And don't get me wrong, there's some advantages to it, but if you constantly feel like you're in survival mode, that's not helping at all. So if this episode made you realize that maybe it's not about doing more and maybe it's about changing the way your body experiences life and the way your mind thinks about the way you're operating in your daily life, I hope that resonates. I hope you gain some awareness of how you're feeling throughout the day. Because if stress is the main thought or overwhelmed, then you're operating from a survival mechanism and not from a more calmer state. I want to be clear too. I'm not talking about you being a robot, like having no emotions, because we do have emotions. This is the human experience. We were put on this planet for whatever reason, and we experience things. And I think that's the beauty, right? If we didn't have low lows, we wouldn't have high highs. If we didn't experience sadness and death and things that make us want to cry, we wouldn't be able to experience sunsets and the beauty of birth and having our kids and all those wonderful things. We need the contrast of both. And you do need some stress in your life, but good stress, right? Only when you're working out, only when you're pushing that limit, not because you have a deadline or because you're worried about your kids, like things like that. Again, it starts all in your mindset. It starts with the thoughts that you're thinking, how you're feeling about yourself, how you're feeling about your life. And then the food and the exercise come in. And the hormones will help stabilize, help balance. So I hope this episode was helpful to you. If you want to take it one step further, you can go grab my free ebook for Stop Starting Over Reset ebook. It's an 80-page juicy ebook that you can grab at weightlossforwomenover40.net/reset. Go grab it. It's absolutely free. It is juicy. It's 80 some pages, and I would love to hear if you grab it. I would love to hear how it is making an impact in your life when you're diving into that. If you want to come socialize with me, go visit me on Instagram at Weight Loss for Women Over 40, 40 at the end, or over on Facebook at Nicole Ternay, NicoleTernay. I think there's a dot in the middle, a period in the middle. I could be wrong. I'll leave the links in the show notes. But make sure you subscribe wherever you're listening to this. And if you really want to help me out and spread the word about really, I'm on a mission. I don't want people to hate themselves skinny anymore. I'm done. It's not cool. So if you want to help me, share this episode with your friends, but also write a review on whatever platform you're listening to. That would really help me out. It'll get the word out. It will help someone you don't know feel a little better about themselves today. All right. Have a wonderful day. I hope you get outside, get some sun wherever you're at. Please enjoy your day, and I will talk to you in the next episode. Take care.